It's not 10 out of 10, but it's 9.5 out of 10. And action. Hi. I thought I'd make a long-term review of this bike now that I've had it for a year and a half. First, I'd like to say that this video and review is somewhat biased because I'm a Pole bicycle ambassador. Nevertheless, I think I'm giving a fair review of it. So for those who feel that that's enough, thanks for watching so far, and maybe see you on the next video, and let's get down to the business. As I said, I've had it for a year and a half now. That translates roughly into 2,000 kilometers. This is the second frame I already have because I was having the early prototype at first, which I rode for the first season, and now I got the production version of the bike, and it's built with the race axles too. And for those who don't know, the race axles are the axle option for those riders who prefer to push really hard. It makes the bike less flexy. It's not flexing a lot with standard axles, but those race axles make it even stiffer. What I've ridden, for example, trail riding here in Finland, bike parks here in Finland, downhill here in Finland. I've also done Trans-Madeira last year, which means 250 kilometers of epic adventure racing. And then I've done some trail missions in northern Norway. So I've done quite many things with this bike already. And that brings me to the number one feature of this bike, which is versatility. Sorry if I pronounced that word wrong, versatility. I think it's pronounced that way. But yeah, it's an all-arounder for sure. It handles trail, enduro, and downhill. My build is definitely aimed for enduro, which means that I've not considered weight that much, but instead of weight preferred strength, grip, and durability. For example, I have quite burly tires and quite burly wheels, big brakes, stuff like that. So it's built for enduro, and that's what I do mostly with it. But it also handles downhill very well. It can also be built with the double crown fork or dual crown, which make it even more like a downhill bike. But make note that this is the trail platform of Pole bicycles. They also have the gravity lineup now, which is more into the downhill and full sense only spectrum of the mountain bike genres, disciplines. So the first and the best feature of this bike is versatility. The second best feature is how it rides. It's very fast to turn and to pop a wheelie, to do a manual, to skip the rocks, roots, double things. It's very fast and nimble that way. Also, the high BB gives a lot of advantage on the trails. It gives a lot of clearance compared to the older Pole versions, which were lower, and many other bikes on the market now. The rider with this bike benefits the high BB on the trails too. For me, the higher standing position also gives me confidence when approaching steep slabs, for example. Anywhere that's steep, I can see further. I feel more confident. I can ride steep stuff easier. How you are positioned on this bike is very centered, which is also very good in many ways, because when you have a lot of room to move like you have with this bike, being centered gives you like a whole area of movement, and that's the key when it comes to bike handling. It's stable, even though it's high and quick to turn, going bam 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 through everything, because of the higher BB and more active platform. But it's not bouncy and scattering either. It's very well-rounded bike in total. The pedaling efficiency is very good. That's number 3 on my list. There's no pedal bob on any gear, which is cool. I've compared this bike to previous bikes I've had, which are, for example, Trek Remedy 8. I've ridden all the previous Pole versions. Also spent some time on specialized enduro, Rocky Mountain Instinct BC and such bikes, and this is much more well-rounded bike than any of those. And the pedaling efficiency of this bike, even though it's 190mm travel bike, it's better than you would think. I can't put it in words or ensure that to you, but I just tell you that you will surprise how efficient it is to pedal. The fourth most important point for me, I think, is how it's not limiting my skills or my progression as a mountain biker, as a racer, Sunday racer maybe. Number 5, I highly appreciate the company. I know their work ethics. I know how hard they work. I know how this bike is recyclable. I mean, the frame is recyclable, and how the material coming from making one frame is actually recycled. I know how much effort they put to these bikes, and the fact that these are made 20 kilometers from where I live is very cool actually too. That's number 5 for me. Number 6. Is there a number 6? Oh, number 6, yeah, now I know. How easy it is to maintain the bike. Do the maintenance. Clean the bike. Take it apart. Clean everything. Rebuild it. It's very easy. The only criticism this bike gets from me is the internal routing. I'd much rather have the external routing, but if that's everything, I think it's pretty good. It's not 10 out of 10, but it's 9.5 out of 10. I'd say, because I don't have the money to buy the wireless stuff. One point worth mentioning also is that since this is a long travel bike, the chain moves a lot. The movement of the chain is very wide, which means that the derailleur is moving from side to side very much. That tends to wear the clutch of the derailleur, and that translates into many derailleurs per season if you ride a lot. What helps a bit is to have a proper chain guide with the upper chain guide and the lower chain guide. That prevents the chain from skipping when it starts to wear, when the clutch starts to wear and the chain starts to wear. So who this bike is for? A rider who prefers enduro, trail and downhill, maybe in that exact order. Don't have other bikes. Just want to do everything with a single bike. Every discipline I just mentioned, the trail, the enduro, downhill. And pushes hard. And considers the ethics as a factor. So let's talk about the price. And as I already mentioned, I'm a Pole Bicycle ambassador, which means that I get some discount from the frames, but I don't get them for free. And even though I wouldn't be an ambassador for Pole Bicycles, this would probably be my bike still, because it has everything I respect and want from a bike. The price point is actually very good. It's hard to find similar bike with that price. And I've compared this frame to many bikes that are traditionally welded, maybe made in Taiwan, where the build quality is totally different. The build quality of this bike is super good. You can't even see the seams here, and this thing is bonded from 2 halves. and glued together. And you can't see the seams, it's so precise. Aesthetics, I really love it, especially when there's weight on it and the lines connect here. It's very beautiful. But yeah, I think that's it. Hope you find something interesting from this video. Feel free to ask any questions on the comments. And yeah, get yours from polebicycles.com.